A year and a half ago, I got up in the middle of the night to use the restroom. But what happened next, I could not have prepared for in a million years. As I opened my eyes, I was trying to figure out what was going on. Long story short, I have something called, I can't remember the name of it, where I pass out easily. And this time around, I passed out, I hit my head on the wall and then under the sink. So the ambulance come. I've had plenty of concussions, so I told them I was fine and I would go see the doctor the next day. So I woke up, still had a headache, but nothing too crazy or unusual took place, and I went to the doctor where she told me that there's pretty much nothing I can do other than take it easy for a few days. So that's what I did. I came home and I took a nap. But when I woke up from that nap is when everything shifted for me. I woke up and I could not make sense of what was going on. The lights were way too bright. I was stuttering like this every time I talked because I could not get the words from my brain to come out of my mouth. I had to go pick up my kids from school, and their school is only a half a mile away, but this seems like a really difficult thing for me to get from my house to their school to pick them up. After this, we ended up going and getting a CT scan where, again, they told me that I just need to take it easy and there wasn't going to be much that I could do. But I was a little freaked out because I had had plenty of concussions, but this time around just seemed a lot different. So I took it easy for a few weeks and nothing seemed to be getting better. In fact, I felt like things just almost started getting worse. I couldn't read, my eyes were hurting me constantly, I was so fatigued, and my brain fog was out of this world. I could not make sense of things. I felt like I was super mellow and depressed. I could not stop crying. Fortunately, I was able to go to a functional neurologist, and I'm telling you, if it was not for the 2 functional neurologists that I have seen and also my relationship with Jesus, I don't know where I would be today. Because the amount of depression that took over in my life and the identity crisis that took place with trying to figure out who I was and where the old me went just seemed so discouraging and impossible to try to even grasp. It seemed like I was just almost having an out-of-body experience for months. I could barely be around my kids. It felt like everything was just overstimulating my brain and I could not get out of it. The sounds that they would make just by talking made me cringe. I was so impulsive and reactionary, and it was definitely scary. That compounded with my PMDD, it was not a great mix. But I kept being told that hopefully everything will just kind of go back. It's just going to take me a while because after having 6 concussions, this is kind of what happens. They accumulate and it can get worse every single time. To give you some context, before my last concussion, I was that person that is always on the go, always trying new things. You know, my ADHD would always keep me entwined in new and adventurous fun things because I would find them interesting and I would want to try to figure them out. And I was extremely a people person. We had an open door policy at our home where anyone could stop by at any time and just come and do life with us with whatever was happening. But all of these things started to really slip away and I could not find happiness or joy in anything. I could not handle being around too many people because I just didn't know how to track the conversations. After a while, I really, had to battle out with God. It was like, I need some help. And one of the really cool things is that he definitely did help restore a lot of me and my story and my mind and my body. However, there was a few things that just were not ever really seeming to get better. I would constantly need to be taking naps. I could not really handle much at all. Before I say my body would crash, where as soon as I hit that point of too much stimulation, too much physical activity, everything would short circuit and my brain felt like it was just donezo. And all of my symptoms would come rushing back in, even if I had had a couple of good days. But this was really, really hard for me because I felt like I was not myself, didn't like who I was and who I was becoming. And I kind of was getting to a point of realizing that this was going to be the new norm for me. And that in itself was pretty discouraging. I had to figure out like a new way of doing life. I had to constantly be checking myself, my body, my thoughts, my energy level, because once I would have too much stimulation with my brain, anything that would require your brain to work a bit too much just seemed to wipe me out, where I would crash and burn. So after a year of these things, I was like, this is it. Like it's not getting any better. And I started to do some research because honestly, I thought that I was getting what the football players have, where my irritability, my impulsiveness, my rage, my anger, my depression, my anxiety was just so much that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be one of these people. Like this is going to happen to me. So after I started doing some research, I found this place that was putting a lot of articles out about post concussion syndrome. And there's a few things that actually will make it a little bit more likely for you to have it. And one of them being a female, 2, if you have learning disabilities, and then 3, if you have had multiple concussions before. All 3 of those things are things that I have struggled with. I had never heard of this, and I was kind of surprised because I'd had so many concussions and doctors knew about it, and I had hit my head so many times that I was really surprised that this wasn't more of the conversation that was taking place. Because for a bit, I was wondering if I was starting to kind of go crazy, because I was like, what is going on with all of this? And I could not always track it. So I want to encourage you that if you have hit your head a couple of times and you have gotten a concussion and your symptoms are not going away and it has been over 3 to 6 months, then you might be struggling with something called post-concussion syndrome. And I have found that there are a few things that help me in being able to deal with it on a daily basis. One of them is these amazing little loop earplugs. I genuinely love these things because I can still hear what's going on, but it just kind of filters the sound differently so that it's not as overwhelming for my mind. Another thing that I do is I wear these red lens glasses because the red lens glasses actually help filter out all of the blue and the green light, which is the most for your brain to process. So when I'm going out grocery shopping, the fluorescent lights, when I'm at work with my clients, when I'm just outside in the sunlight, I have these bad boys on because I feel like they just help me last so much longer throughout the day. I've also had to start some different medications that I never thought that I would be on, but right now, this is just where I'm at in life. And an editing version of me here because I completely forgot to tell you about something that has been helping me so much, and it is called Brainwave. I will do my best in linking everything that I've talked about down below for you. But this has been really awesome because what it actually does is you put headphones on and you put on these sound waves, and you want to get to a spot of alpha brain where there's waves that are going in one ear and waves that are going in the other ear, and it kind of disrupts your brain and doesn't know what to do with it, and it puts it into a meditative state. So it helps your brain relax, which is really a difficult thing when you are constantly feeling like your brain is overstimulated. So I try to use this on a daily basis when I'm just taking a brain break or taking a nap, or if I'm actually going to sleep at night and I'm having a hard time falling asleep, because that is one of the things that was not really necessarily going away for me, is being able to fall asleep at night. So if you're struggling with this, one of the best things that have helped me is really understanding the things that drain me most. Working out, lots of light, lots of noise, and a lot of like just physical activity of like running around, picking up my kids from school, dropping them off, and stuff like that. I have to take it easy. And I know that if today I have a busy day, tomorrow I need to make sure that it's a little bit more chill and I have the opportunity to just chill out and sit down and relax. Long story short, the most exciting thing that has come up is after that I am going to go out for a brain treatment for an entire week. I am beyond excited, but also extremely nervous because I'm not sure how it's going to go. One of my biggest fears is that they're going to be like, actually, it's not as bad as you think it is, or you have been acting. If you want to know more about what this is like and this experience, hit the subscribe button because I'm going to be taking you guys out on the trip with me. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to really film like while I'm there, but I'm going to be keeping you guys up to date and trying to let you know how I feel like it's helped me or not, because I feel like this is something that a lot of people actually don't know about, and it just kind of feels like, well, this is just going to be what life is, and it sucks. But there is hope. It's difficult when you have a syndrome or something where people don't see it, because it's hard for them to understand when they can't see that there's something going on other than you just kind of being moody, tired, and saying that you can't handle the things. It kind of gets old for people. They might just kind of be like, okay, yep, you hit your head, you got a concussion like everyone in the world does. Get over it and let's move forward. But you actually physically can't, and it is extremely isolating because you will look maybe okay and fine on the outside, but on the inside, everything is a disaster. And it's hard to just even function on the daily basis of like everyday life situations. So if you are interested in going along this journey with me, please hit the subscribe button down below and I will see you next time. All right, bye guys.